Yo, what is going on YouTube? I am Germ here. It is that time of the week again where we have to talk about, unfortunately, Fnatic, because another week passed and it was another rough one, another really rough one, and now time is running out. There's just 1 week left in the LEC season, and maybe fortunately, maybe unfortunately for Fnatic, I'm not really sure. Obviously, they're not coming into this week with great form, but there is still 3 games left to play, and over an 18-game season, 3 games is a decent chunk. So there is still, some time for them to turn things around. And if they can turn things around this weekend, their season could potentially be far from over. But I don't think many people think that is very likely. And if you take a look at the current LEC standings, we will see that Fnatic, obviously Google's not doing them any justice. Google has them in the 8th position right now, but they are tied for 6th. But what is crazy is that this Fnatic team, was maybe a super team coming into the season or whatever. A lot of people, myself included, said this might be the most talented team in the LEC, even though Vitality was like the super team. G2 is G2. There were some exciting teams coming into the season, but Fnatic was really good. Adding Humanoid, adding Wonder, maybe the best bot lane in the West, one of the best bot lanes in the world. Like, this team was supposed to come together. They're supposed to be exciting. That has not happened. And if you would have said, 15 games into the summer regular season, everyone can say, oh, spring doesn't matter. Spring is where new teams need to get synergy. You got to build up over the course of the year. You ramp up for summer split, summer playoffs, worlds, all that. That's where we are. We're a whole season into this, and Fnatic still isn't ramping up. And like I said, 15 games into the summer regular season, they are under 500. They have 7 wins and 8 losses. Now, the LEC is pretty competitive this year. There's a lot of really solid, really decent teams. Everybody's kind of beating everybody, but Fnatic has been on the losing end of a lot of games recently. And if you look at the recent form Fnatic has been in, you can see that in the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games, Fnatic has won 2 games, 2-6 in their last 8. Obviously, coming in to the Super Week, coming into the last week of the LEC season, where you need to win a couple games to even make the playoffs, let alone go on some playoff run to even make it to Worlds. But just to make the playoffs, you have to win a couple games. You do not want to be 2-6 in your last 8. But, hey, they've won a couple of games at least. They're not the worst team in the league or anything like that. But it gets even worse when you take a look at the teams they have beaten. Who are their 2 wins in their last 8? Their 2 wins in their last 8 are against Team BDS, who is, what are they right now? 2-13. Some people are saying is one of the worst, if not maybe the worst LEC team of all time. I think that's pushing it a little bit, but they're really bad, like historically bad. That is one of Fnatic wins, and Fnatic's other win is against SK. And if we take a look at the standings again, SK is 6-9. They are one of the 2 teams below Fnatic in the standings. So right now, Fnatic has lost to everybody tied with them and above them, and they've beaten the 2 teams below them, which just shows that right now Fnatic might be the 7th or 8th best team in the LEC. Like, that is absolutely possible. That is the form that they have been playing in. They have beaten the 9th and 10th place teams. They've lost to everybody else. If that's the case, you might be the 8th best team. You might be the 7th best team. And obviously that would be insanely disappointing. We can look at the games from this last week where Fnatic, they did win a game. Like I said, they did take down SK. So it's not impossible for them to win. They can still beat up on some of these bad teams. And hey, this game was clean. 13-1 in kills, 9-2 in towers, kind of a perfect game, 3 things away from a perfect game. They had a 13,000 gold lead. But overall, I think SK is not that strong of a team. I mean, look at their roster. Jezu, Gen X, Gilius, and Certus. Like, that's not a great LEC roster. That's not a great LEC team. That, I feel like some years that roster would be one of the worst in the LEC. There's just not a lot of big names. I think Treats is still pretty decent, pretty solid, but I think Gilius is not very good. Certus is not very good. Gen X is meh. Jezu is meh. These guys would they dominate the ERLs? I don't know. I really, it's tough for me to say. But anyway, Fnatic wins. They get a good win. And I know Humanoid said last week after they beat Team BDS in this game, Humanoid was like, hey, things are going better. We're feeling better. We think we figured some things out. We're rolling now. And I said, hold up. Let's beat somebody not Team BDS before we start saying we're rolling, before we start saying we figured things out. out. And hey, I guess they followed up. They beat SK. But then guess what? They had a date with G2. And obviously, G2 is an insane team. They're a big name. They're historically a really, really good team. But so far, LEC standings, I guess G2 is tied for second now. They're 9-6. But coming into that game, G2 is 8-6. They were one game away from being 500. G2's been kind of up and down throughout the split. It's not like this is 2019 G2 or anything like that. And Fnatic got absolutely smacked in this game. As bad as Fnatic beat SK, in some ways, they lost to G2 that bad. Flockhead goes 10-1 on Draven. Broken Blade 2-1-14 on Sejuani. Targamas 2-0-19 on the Renata. This was a 16,000 gold advantage for G2. 24 kills to 9. I mean, just not good. Hillsang 0-7-3. Humanoid 2-5. Wonder 1-5. Upset going 2-4-7. I mean, just overall a very, very rough game. And this was a game that Fnatic needed to win. This was a game between two teams that are both fighting for playoff spots, both fighting to figure some things out right before the playoffs start. And G2, G2 Fnatic, the rivalry, El Clasico, whatever, big game with so much on the line. G2 showed up and Fnatic did not. And maybe you could argue G2 is like a really, really good team right now, but is G2 significantly better than Mad or Vitality or Rogue? No, Fnatic is going to have to be as good, if not better, than a lot of these teams that are similar strength to G2 right now if they want to go to Worlds. So it's looking to me more and more like Fnatic is probably not going to Worlds. Now, is it possible that this team just absolutely flips a switch and figures things out in best of fives or something like that? Maybe, but Spring Split would tell us otherwise. Spring Split would tell us, hey, this team didn't, look significantly better in best of fives. Maybe they looked worse in best of fives. I don't really know. Clearly, it seems like something is wrong with this team. I don't know if it's synergy or personality-wise or drafts or if it's coaching or what, but there's a lot going wrong. Obviously, people want to keep saying, hey, this is just not a good meta for Fnatic. Some people want to blame Razork. Some people want to blame Humanoid. Some people want to blame, Wonder or who knows. But things are not going good. And if we look at Fnatic's schedule this last week, they play Astralis, Misfits, and Vitality. So they actually have a decently tough schedule. Obviously Astralis and Misfits, nothing too crazy, but they're playing a team that's tied with them and two teams above them. They don't have SK anymore. They don't have BDS anymore. Astralis, maybe not the craziest team in the world, but they have the same record as Fnatic right now. Misfits has been on fire recently, and so has Vitality. So overall, this is a tough week for Fnatic. I could easily see them going 1-2. I wouldn't be shocked if they went 0-3, and if they go 0-3, they're likely not making the playoffs. And even if they go 1-2, there's still a chance that they miss the playoffs altogether. And that's with no playoff run, no opportunity to go to Worlds, and then things would get absolutely crazy. In that instance, what would this team do this offseason? Would Humanoid stay? Would he go? Would Razork stay? Would he go? Would Wonder stay? Would he go? Would Upset stay? Would he go? Would Reckless return to Fnatic? I don't know, but it's like each week we're like, oh, Fnatic's going to figure some things out. Oh, Fnatic will get it under control. Oh, Fnatic's going to get hot. They're going to show up, and they keep looking like worse and worse and worse or similarly bad each week. I don't really know, but Fnatic is running out of time. There's 1 week left in the season. Maybe they show up, maybe they go 3-0, maybe they go 2-1, maybe they clinch a playoff spot, but then again, even if they do, they'd still have to win some games in the playoffs. They still have to win some series. They still need to get some stuff done, and it just seems like Fnatic needs way too much to happen right now. I'm still on the train that they will not be going to Worlds. I think they should make playoffs, but it would be spicier and more interesting and probably more entertaining if they don't. So I don't really know what I'm rooting for. But another week passing, another kind of disaster for Fnatic, and we'll see when this one is going to end or maybe how they're going to fix things going into next year. I don't know for sure. But that's pretty much it for this video today, guys. Definitely drop a like if you did enjoy it. I would appreciate that so much. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think about anything we talked about in this video today. Subscribe, stay up to date on all my latest content. Hopefully catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace.